Man, what is happening, my YouTube family? Of course, it is your boy B New coming at you this Tuesday morning. Hope everybody had a safe and happy Memorial Day weekend. And first and foremost, as always, just want to send out positive vibes to everybody out there who could be listening at this precise moment. Positive vibes and good vibrations to all of you. So, as we all know, today is the big day. We know that the Lakers and LeBron James will be taking on Chris Paul and the Phoenix Suns tonight at the late game. That's the second night of the doubleheader on TNT tonight. And we pretty much discussed on the last video everything that the Lakers need to do in order to be able to win this game tonight. And I have no loss of confidence. I understand that, you know, the Lakers are not looked at as a favorite now. And I would dare say, you know, if you got money that you can put on this series, just the series, I'm not saying this game, but on this series, then you would definitely put it on the Los Angeles Lakers, because there ain't no way in hell that the Lakers are going to lose in the first round to the Phoenix Suns. And I'm not talking about conspiracy theories or none of that, because you got so many people saying that the NBA is not going to let LeBron leave in the first round, and the NBA is not going to allow this or allow that because of ratings. Listen, I understand about the conspiracy theories, and I understand over the course of the years, there's been some times where calls went the other way. Like, you know, some of those Lakers and Portland Trailblazers series back in the early 2000s with Arvidas Sabonis and Shaq when they battled. Some of those Sacramento Kings games, even Indiana Pacers Lakers. You know, some of the smaller market teams just don't get the benefit of the call. Just kind of like my Memphis Grizzlies, they don't get the benefit of the call. Just like last night, you know, you had a 3-point shot by Donovan Mitchell where they gave Dylan Brooks his fourth foul. It was challenged and it was still upheld, but they said there was no contact up top. But then they said they didn't give him room to land. But if the shooter is behind the 3-point line when they jump, then the only space you have to give them is where they land, like at the same spot from where they jump. You can't jump forward. So if Dylan Brooks elevated behind the arc and Dylan Brooks landed behind the arc and Donovan Mitchell jumped in front of the arc, you understand what I'm saying? And landed in front of the arc, and they both landed in their respective positions, then how in the world is that call upheld and you give him 3 points just like that? And, you know, there were some questionable calls down the stretch, but at the end of the day, I bring that up just to say you cannot blame a game nor a series on refs. Refs can make some bad calls here and there, maybe change the momentum, but at the end of the day, throughout the course of a 48-minute game, there's way too many deciding factors, and ultimately, those deciding factors are within the hands of the players. You know, and if you want to talk about something being rigged and things like that, the NFL is the easiest thing to say, because there's a hold on damn near every play. It's just when they choose to call it. That's the thing, when they choose to call it. So, you know, but I won't get into all this conspiracy theory stuff. I know all these people are saying, you know, that the NBA won't let LeBron James do this and that. At the end of the day, LeBron James and the Lakers had a destiny in their own hands, and it's going to be mano a mano. And like I said, the Phoenix Suns, they haven't been in the playoffs. These young players are new to this. I know they're young and they got legs, but now you get into the teeth of the games to where you got a day on, day off, day on, day off, day on, day off. So, you know, they just played Sunday. Now here it is Tuesday night. You got again for a battle. And then after tonight's game, day off Wednesday, flight back to LA, play again Thursday night. Not much time for practice. At this point, everybody already knows their matchups and what they're trying to do. And like I said on the last video, I just hope that Frank Vogel understands that with Marc Gasol on the floor, providing the floor spacing, that is pretty much the only way that they can really beat the Phoenix Suns. So Marc Gasol did get more playing minutes than Andre Drummond last time, but I really think that Marc needs to start and get more minutes with LeBron in order to space the floor, because if you bring LeBron James out, if you bring Marc Gasol out and he's playing in the high post and beyond the arc, then that's going to create space by bringing Ayton out of the paint. And I'm not going to continue to beat a dead drum, but that's very key because LeBron James gets most of his baskets and scoring driving to the lane. So if he can drive to the lane and there's no Ayton there, then he can easily finish because they're not going to have a rim protector there. And if he drives to the lane and they do collapse from the weak side, then he can kick it out to an open three-point shooter. So I don't know the status of KCP just yet. Hopefully we'll get some more updates on that. If you guys know the status of KCP, if he will be able to have a go ahead and go tonight, then let me know. You know, it was just a thigh contusion. His MRI was negative on the knee, so his knee is good. So it's just basically a thigh bruise. I know it's a lot of pain you might have to go through, but at the end of the day, he may need to just go ahead and make himself available because Wesley Matthews is doing a hell of a job as far as his defense, you know, on Booker. But KCP was doing that as well, and is a more reliable three-point shooter at this point in their career. Wesley Matthews used to be a great knockdown three-point shooter, but he just hadn't had that touch this year. But who knows, maybe he can step his game up because somebody is going to have to. Kyle Kuzma has been terrible. If you can just get 15 to 17 points from Kyle Kuzma, that would be a great blessing for the Lakers tonight. But LeBron James, he cannot go out tonight and have 12 shot attempts. He cannot go out tonight and have 15 shot attempts. So I expect him to get it going early, you know, getting to the basket early, getting them in foul trouble early, and then maybe later once things settle down to try to facilitate to others. But if he can do his thing and get the offense going, then that's going to motivate everybody else because a lot of players, they tend to get going when they see the leader of the team doing their thing and they want to contribute just as much. And I like what Marc Gasol said after the game the other day. Marc Gasol said, listen, I know it sounds cliche, it's a next man up mentality, but at the end of the day, you cannot sit up here and let it get you down that Anthony Davis went down because that's just a part of the game. At the end of the day, I still think the Lakers are good enough to get through the West without Anthony Davis. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I think the team that actually poses the biggest challenge to anybody in the West, just to be totally honest with you, is the Utah Jazz. And people say, well, they're just playing Memphis and blah, blah, blah. But listen, I'm telling you what, the way they hitting threes, and the thing about it, that Memphis crowd has been very rowdy. I've been in those crowds a few times, and I know how rowdy it can get. And I mean, the pressure was on, and then they just steadily answering the bell. And every time Memphis would go on a run and knock the lead down to 2 or 3, then here come Mike Conley with another timely 3. And I kept wondering why the hell Mike Conley couldn't shoot those threes back in the day, which he would hit threes, but not as consistently as he hitting them now in the latter portion of his career. Because if he'd have been doing that with Mark and Zebo and Tony Allen and everybody else, then you might would have saw Memphis in a couple of finals because they were going deep in the playoffs for those years. Not blaming it all on Mike Conley, but, you know, let's not forget Memphis had Golden State down 2-1 before Tony Allen was injured on the year that Golden State won their first championship. So let's not forget that because it was ground and pound versus the Splash Brothers. So it was the Splash against the grind. But anyway, we're not going to get into all that. The main point of the matter is, you know, the Lakers have to win tonight. They do not want to go down 3-2. Not saying that they cannot. LeBron has been down 3-2. We all remember against the Celtics, but he had Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh's teammates, which that's a little bit different with Anthony Davis being injured and being out. But it's not like it's not possible. And I have a lot of faith in LeBron James. I have a lot of faith in the other Lakers players that they can and they will step up when they have to because they have not had to play yet with their back against the wall. So now that their back is totally against the wall, then I would imagine that they're going to come out, you know, they're going to play great defense, which they always do. These games have been very low scoring games. I want to say 2 or 3 times in the series, Phoenix was been held over 100. Last game, the Lakers were held under 100. So these are not high scoring games. They're played at a pace that I think right now is favoring the Suns. I think the Lakers would like to speed up the game if they can force some turnovers and get running in transition. That's what they will do. But just mark tonight to make sure if you see Andre Drummond come out and Marc Gasol not starting, then I think the Lakers can hang with them and they may be, you know, go back and forth and they could be down by 4 or 5 points, you know, but if they really want to get out there and get a lead and spread them around, especially with the way Chris Paul is looking, he's looking good now. But let's just remember what I said. The Phoenix Suns are down to an 8-man rotation right now. And since they are down to an 8-man rotation, then you know that some of these players' legs are going to be getting to them. I know they are young, but at the end of the day, you know, the Lakers been playing a 10-man rotation. And most definitely want to see THT get some time tonight. You know, even over Kuzma, to be honest, just because Kuzma has not been effective at all. Kuzma has played some pretty efficient defense and crashed the boards decently, but right now with the Lakers are really missing this offense, and THT gives them the ability to get to the rim, to finish, and to create for others. And let's not forget, when Schroeder went down and then Caruso actually got hurt, THT had to start a couple times at point guard, and he did a great job. And let's not forget, he did hit a game-winning shot. So, you know, a game-winning three during that stretch towards the end of the season. So he got moxie. He's not afraid at the moment. I just don't see why he's not getting any minutes. And I think it's important with AD out that Montrezl Harrell can come in and get you some valuable minutes. Although I don't want to see him come in as the center. I would still like to see Drummond and Gasol get that rotation, and then just put Montrezl in, you know, with Drummond at some point. Let Drummond and Trez play together at the more traditional way if they're not stretching the floor, even though that would be tough if you put Trez and Drummond in at the same time and they had, you know, Bridges and Crowder, you know, out there stretching the floor, because that's just something that Drummond and Montrezl is not capable of doing. And you cannot risk giving up all these three-pointers to the Phoenix Suns. So a lot of people keep saying, I want to see Trez, I want to see Trez, listen, it's all about matchups. So hopefully the Lakers finally got it right, and you know, they didn't really have time to practice. I hope they spent all that time in the film room, and hopefully they looked at that fourth quarter where they really outscored the Suns by 8 points in that quarter, and they mounted that comeback and cut it down to 5, but were not able to. That they can see that Marc Gasol played a very integral part in that. So I'm very much looking forward to the game tonight. I think it's going to be very interesting, and regardless of the outcome, even if the Lakers were to go down, which I don't think they will, even if they do go down, there's no way they're going to lose the last two games. And the good news is they're saying that Anthony Davis could potentially return for Game 7 because he just has a grade 1 groin strain. So it wasn't a tear or it wasn't a pull. So he could be back by Game 7, which would be, if necessary, I would imagine, on Saturday or Sunday. And then that would be a very good game to watch, because nothing I love more in sports is a Game 7. Game 7 is just everybody leave it all out on the floor, and you got a lot of different storylines that's going on within the game. So let's just hope the Lakers don't have to go to a Game 7. They can go ahead and take care of business tonight. I know that Phoenix crowd is going to be a rowdy bunch, because the Lakers crowd, they just not a rowdy bunch, you know, because you got Los Angeles, you got Hollywood. I'm not saying they fans are not as loud, but, you know, places like OKC, Memphis, you know, these smaller market teams, they really get into it, and they get the chance going early on. And plus, the Lakers not quite nearly at full capacity as Phoenix. Lakers maybe had like 5,000 people, whereas Phoenix sitting on 16,000, 17,000 people, which makes a hell of a difference. So I think sometimes you can go on the road and feed off that crowd energy, kind of like Rudy Gobert fed off Memphis energy last night. Even though they was booing and booing and booing, he hit like 7 free throws in a row, and he's a 60% free throw shooter. So you wouldn't expect for him to do that, especially in such clutch moments when the game was wavering on the line, kind of going back and forth. But I will say this, if y'all not watching that Memphis Grizzlies-Utah series, then you're making a mistake, because that is a great series to watch. Dylan Brooks is going to be a star in this league, because the way he plays both ends of the court is amazing. John Moran is a climbing star in this league. Jared Jackson Jr. is going to be outstanding. Valanciunas plays great, and the Memphis Grizzlies are going to be somebody that people are going to have to deal with in the next couple of years as they get better in the Western Conference. And not only that, back to Utah. I'm telling you what, Utah, I watched them through the year, and I think they are good, and nobody wants to give them credit, but they had the best record in the league for a reason, and they hit all these threes for a reason. But if you can run them off that three-point line and play great defense, I think they're capable of being beat, and I think the Lakers are a team that's capable of doing that. And can the Lakers beat Utah with Anthony Davis? I'm not sure, but it would definitely be a great series, because the Lakers, even without Anthony Davis, had the #1 defense in the league, so they would be capable of running Utah off the off the three-point line. But that's a long way away, because Utah still has to get through Memphis, and then they would still have to get through either the Clippers or Dallas on that side of the bracket. I'm at this point, I'm just thinking the way the Clippers manhandled Dallas the past 2 games, it's like they had a wake-up call. They heard all the noise and everybody talking bad about them, and they said, you know what? Hey, now they woken the beast in the Clippers, which may not be a good thing for a lot of other teams, because the Clippers are a great team with great wing defenders. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, they pretty deep, you know, especially Serge Ibaka, Zubac, Rondo, Pat Bev, Reggie Jackson. I mean, Clippers pretty deep, but at the end of the day, if Anthony Davis can get back, there's no way they can beat the Lakers. I just don't think. Not in the 7-game series. Not with LeBron James playing playoff LeBron James basketball. But it's still yet to be seen. But I just want everybody to have positive energy, positive vibrations going into tonight, because once you get into tonight, you are going to see a Lakers team with its back against the wall. And when you see a team with their back against the wall, they play just a little bit different. So I don't need anybody to shy away from the moment and for anybody to be afraid. So at the end of the day, just want to say right on to the real, and much love to the haters. And good luck to the Lakers. I'm out.